Farewell, Peter Parker. Know this, I will carry on in your name. You may be leaving this world, but you are not leaving it to a villain. I swear, I will be Spider-Man. Better yet, with my unparalleled genius and my boundless ambition, I'll be a better Spider-Man than you ever were. From this day forth, I shall become the Superior Spider-Man!
Superior Spider-Man is probably one of my favorite comic books ever written, if not my favorite. It's the comic book series that single-handedly brought me back into comic books way back in the day. Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, is dying, and on his deathbed, his last wish is to see his greatest nemesis, Peter Parker. Spider-Man goes to visit him. Otto Octavius somehow swaps minds with Peter Parker, not only taking over Peter's body, but leaving Peter in his broken and decrepit, dying form. You see, for the last several hundred issues, Peter solved basically every major issue with Otto's technology. And because of that, Otto was able to map Peter's brainwaves and then supplant his over said brainwaves. Crazy comic book stuff. Who knows? Peter in Otto's body tries to desperately get his body back and is unfortunately unable to. But in his last dying breath, he transfers his core memories to Otto. That way he understands the importance of what it means to be Spider-Man. In that time, Otto vows to not only stay as Spider-Man, but become a superior Spider-Man. And Otto, being an evil mastermind, looks at all the inefficiencies that Peter had as Spider-Man and tries to make them as efficient as humanly possible. He has a new suit with new eye tech. He has claws on the ends of his gauntlets. Interestingly, whereas his intelligence comes from thinking on his feet, Otto's is in planning beforehand. So whenever a problem comes up for Otto, the superior Spider-Man, he has already thought of the solution 6 steps ahead of it actually happening. His first outing, he absolutely brutalizes the superior foes of Spider-Man, the Superior Six, which was quite jarring, but he tried to be as efficient as possible in doing it. He also, in his being Peter, tries to immediately go out with MJ, and thankfully that doesn't work out well. It's also of note that Peter Parker is still a part of this story. He's still almost like memories or like a figment of him is left in the body, and tries to stop Otto from doing a lot of the horrible things that he's doing. He's trying to slowly regain control over his own body. Otto, also being incredibly narcissistic in Peter's body, notices that Peter doesn't have a doctorate yet, so he immediately goes back to college to earn a doctorate. He also does all kinds of horrible things, like he basically creates a Big Brother program in New York by creating thousands of spider bots that patrol New York constantly and look out for any threats, so that way he can engage them as efficiently as possible. His primary goal at first is to completely destroy all of organized crime, and which he's highly, highly successful at doing for the most part. Another really funny side of this is that James Jonah Jameson, who is the mayor of New York at this time, of course absolutely loves Spider-Man now. Now that he's cold, calculated, and brutally efficient, and just an awful person, of course JJ would love him. In this time, as some time goes on, he encounters a villain named Massacre, who's just as awful as he sounds. He just likes causing pandemonium anywhere he goes. And then, let's just say Spider-Man shockingly neutralizes the threat. And everybody that was there and witnessing it backed him up and said he didn't do anything. To which even the Avengers are concerned about this behavior, to which Wolverine says, we all have blood on our hands, right? With all of this going on, Peter finally tries to make his move to take over his body, to which Otto notices So then Otto goes into his mindscape and battles Peter Parker. And right when you think Peter Parker is going to win, Otto wins last second. So Superior Spider-Man continues on. He takes over Stryker's Island. He basically strong arms JJ into letting him keep the island as his own base, his Spider Island, if you will. He then takes a lot of the inmates that he used to work with back in the day for the Sinister Six, and creates his own Sinister Six. He mind controls them and uses them for his own, not nefarious, but altruistic goals. Which obviously blows up in his face because they're being used against their will, and then they break free. Then see Superior Spider-Man in a new suit, and one of my favorite bits is he has a bunch of mechs and henchmen, the same way that an evil villain would, right? Like it's classic Otto Octavius. Like if he's going to do his thing, he's got to have henchmen. He's got to have Octobots, if you will, or Spider Bots, if you will, this and that. And he goes into Hell's Kitchen to depose the Kingpin, who was like the leader of the Hand at this point, who really cares. So he takes out the Kingpin, and he's basically destroyed all of organized crime in New York, which is insane. Stuff that Peter could never even fathom, even possibly think of doing. And of course, he's still just as awful as ever. Of course, he has like little spider leg pincers that come out from his back now. He constantly innovates his design and the technology that he uses. Again, trying to say 6 steps. Let's say he's an Dr. Octopus, right? So 8 steps ahead of any sort of problem. He's able to disarm bombs before they go off because he assumes he can think like a villain. So he knows all of their tricks and takes care of them before they actually go off. At one point, he actually gains control of the Venom symbiote and becomes Superior Venom and fights the Avengers. And that's a pretty neat thing to see Superior Spider-Man with the Venom symbiote completely not being able to control it, of course. Like he thought that he would be able to, and he's quite a narcissist, and of course it's well above his pay grade. But seeing him in the symbiote and all of his henchmen on Spider Island fighting the Avengers was super neat. What he didn't realize was the entire time underneath all of this, the Green Goblin was back and was curating his great plan to defeat Spider-Man. He was able to go right under Otto's nose this entire time and was taking control, vying for the power vacuum that was created by him destroying all of organized crime in New York. Also to which is interesting, Norman almost instantly recognizes Superior Spider-Man as Otto Octavius and calls him as such. What's interesting is Superior Spider-Man was able to roll through most of the problems that he's had so far, but the Green Goblin is a very interesting and unique case where his pre-planning doesn't work against somebody as chaotic as Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. Inevitably, there's an all-out war that breaks loose. The goblins are winning, and he finally understands that he needs to give up control back to Peter Parker, to which he does, and Peter saves the day. It was just a beautiful story to see, such a stagnant character in Otto Octavius actually grow and become somewhat of a good person towards the end of it, and actually give up his space and recognizing that everything isn't about him. It's a very, very beautiful story. Unfortunately, they do bring him back at several times. I'm pretty sure. I haven't really kept up with it that much. But it's like a version that hasn't learned all these lessons, so he's a bad guy again. Kind of sucks the cyclical nature of a lot of comic books, or the serialized nature of comic books, that they have to keep going and keep going. That you can't have any proper resolution with a lot of these characters. Superior Spider-Man will still always stand out as probably my favorite comic book. Seeing things tackled through the perspective of an evil narcissistic genius as opposed to the typical Spider-Man behaviors was very, very interesting. very unique. And actually getting a full story with Otto at the end of it was beautiful. My favorite Spider-Man villain. And maybe my favorite Spider-Man.